Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is currently Tuesday, February 10. It is currently 8:52 a.m. I am currently home, about to get ready for work, and I was called to come on here and share some news with you all that I've been waiting on sharing, and that news is I wrote a book. And it got delivered I'm gonna say about 2 days ago. So I've been waiting on this book so that way I could come on here and share the news. This is my first ever book, and I'm so proud of myself. It took me a good minute to write this one. Yeah, this is a very special book. This one's very special. So basically, it's a book on my journey from awakening to present day now, living in a new way of seeing life. And it's a very emotional book. Like, this book, honestly, if somebody was to read this and actually take everything that's said in this book, like, and apply it to their life, they'll see their own transformation. That's how powerful, like, this book is, like, a very, very, very powerful book. And yeah, so it's called The Gift of Falling Apart. This happens to be the Haitian edition English version. So I wrote 3 of them for the most part. So the very original one was just an English version, English edition, no add-on as far as the Haitian part to it. And then something called me to write a Haitian version. So right now there's the English edition English version, and then this one happens to be the Haitian edition English version, and I plan on getting a Haitian edition Creole version out. That one I gotta work on a little bit, because although I understand Creole 100% and I'm able to read it slowly, writing it is going to be a whole nother ball game for me. So that is going to be that's next on the agenda. But this is currently available on Amazon. I'm going to leave the link down below. Again, this is a very powerful book. I talk about my awakening journey. I talk about my my shadow. I talk about all my different practices that I did to, find solitude, peace, clarity. Basically, re-amplifying that light that was within me, that was, for the most part, just, it was still there, but it wasn't bright, like, and that could happen a lot to a lot of us in life, where it's like, a lot of things do happen in life that really makes you feel like low or down, or, it takes away a part of you. So in writing this book, and I went through the actual journey. So again, for me, this is a very, 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 very personal one. I share some of my stories in there and whatnot. I also took a very poetic stance on it, because that's like the type of person I am, which is very interesting, because this book, I was actually called to write this book. I wasn't 100% planning on it. I remember when I was younger, I've always said I wanted to be an author, but I kind of always put that on the back burner, kind of like, you know, because when you want to when you want to be an author, there's like a lot of writing involved and a lot of extra stuff. And yeah, I always put hair before that. I always put nursing before that. I always put all my other endeavors before that. And yeah, writing a book was like, although it was like a thought at some point, I never actually took action towards writing it. So my cousin, which I did also write a thank you note in here from him, for him, influenced by him, because it was, honestly, I really do believe like he was here for a reason, and he was honestly the starting point of like actually me sitting down and writing this book. So I thank him a lot for being in my home, for being in my studio. I really do feel like God sent him, God, source, universe, whatever word you want to use, sent him for me to receive that message, and here I am with my book. So I'm going to read part of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously, because you could go online and order it. It's available in both paperback and hardcover. I got the hardcover. I got the Haitian edition because then that allows me to, you know, have everything in one. But if you're not Haitian, you could just get the regular English edition, English version. But I wanted to read a part of it, so you guys could get like an idea of, you know, the flow of it. You know, so not everybody's gonna be, you know, not everybody, you know, reads poetry and stuff like that. So although it's more like storytelling poetry, it's not so much like, you know, when we was in English English class, and we had like that the lecture on poems and poetry, and then they always try to figure out like, what's the message in this? Yeah, no, it's not like that. It's kind of like pretty straightforward, to be quite honest. So yeah, so I'll read. So the chapters are divided, the book is divided into chapters, but then in the chapters there's also like subcategories. So this is the first chapter. So I'm just gonna read the first category of chapter 1. And, you know, depending if I'm called to share maybe another subcategory in a chapter, I'll do so. But I feel like, again, I feel called to read the subcategory of chapter 1. So I'm going to read it. And yeah, we'll just go from there. So I kind of don't need my glasses for that. All right. So chapter 1, the cracking open. When life no longer makes sense, it's not falling apart, it's falling away. It didn't begin with a breakdown. It began with the silence I kept swallowing, the parts of me I kept overriding, the alarms I kept dismissing, until one day the weight of everything I kept pushing aside collapsed. I remember the exact moment I cracked open. The whisper that has been there for years, soft, persistent, asking me to slow down, to listen. But I didn't. I kept going. I kept pushing. You might think it would have been the time I left my body, literally, floating above myself in a hotel room on my 22nd birthday, convinced I had already died. I looked down at a version of me sitting on the edge of the bed, vacant. The days that followed blurred into one another. I drifted through them like a ghost, disconnected, disembodied, unsure if I had ever truly returned. Or maybe it was the night I lay limp beside a man who had crossed the line I never gave him permission to. I left my body again, this time in silence. Numb, unfeeling, my body stayed and endured. I told myself it was fine. My mind twisted it into something normal, but my body knew the truth and never forgot. Then came the doom, that quiet, creeping dread that followed me. To work, on the train, while driving. It hung on me like a second skin. Until one day it knocked the breath out of me. I was behind the wheel on my way to work when panic gripped me so tightly I had to pull over. My heart was pounding, my limbs went stiff. I called 911 certain I was dying, but when they arrived, I walked out the car just fine, and still I went to work. I stood in the PACU surrounded by beeping monitors and busy coworkers, pretending I was okay, but inside I was unraveling. The fear didn't leave. I stopped driving, took the train instead, but the panic followed. I forget where I was going, sit in the hospital lobbies, unable to remember my name, and still I pushed through. I showed up for shifts, went to work, smiled, functioned barely. I visited doctor after doctor, brain scans, blood works, checkups. They found nothing, but they handed me prescriptions anyway for a diagnosis they couldn't even name. I flushed them down the toilet. The suicidal thoughts creeped in, quiet at first, then suffocating. I'd been working, looking out the window, and the thought would hit me. Jump. Not because I wanted to die, but because the thoughts in my head were telling me to. My mind had been a prison, a place I didn't feel safe inside. I slept beside my mother one night, my grandmother the next, not for comfort, but out of fear. I was terrified of what I thought I was seeing, terrified of what I couldn't explain. Years passed in cycles, waves of false calm, followed by tidal crashes of panic. I had moments where I felt in control, enough to keep going, enough to believe I was finally okay, but the storm always found its way back. I became afraid of silence, afraid of being alone. I checked my pulse obsessively, just to make sure I was still alive. I'd force a smile in the mirror just to prove my face still moved. I was constantly scanning for proof that I hadn't completely left reality. I searched for something external to blame, an answer, a reason, and every time I thought I found one, it would slip through my fingers. Then came November. The depression pulled me under, my thoughts turned cruel, reckless, and foreign, like voices that didn't belong to me, but lived in my head. They dragged me through sleepless nights, flooding my mind with fear and images and urges that didn't feel like mine. I tried explaining it to people around me, but no one really understood. Eventually, I stopped talking, people stopped asking, and I was left alone in a battle that no one could see. This was the beginning of my cracking open. So, yeah, that is the subcategory, one of the initial subcategory of chapter 1, which is so it's always a bit heavy for me whenever I read it, especially when I start stumbling on my words, because it's very, very personal. But the great thing about this book, and every single version, to be quite honest, is that all the chapters start with a quote. And then I also ended all the chapters with a set of journal prompts, which I don't know if you can see that. Journal prompts. The Haitian edition has far more journal prompts than the English edition version, just for the mere reason that there is a lot more that lays dormant within the Haitian body that I really do believe needs to come out, needs to be released, needs to be transmuted. And these journal prompts that are within the Haitian edition will really truly help bring those out. And they're not meant to bring them out to cause any type of shame or judgments or anything, but rather just to get it out the body, because a lot of the times what's left in the body is really what causes these diseases and these disorders and sickness and stuff, because it's still energy that needs to be released, and that obviously I'll go into a different video diary on, because I have had my fair share of transmuting a lot within my life that, you know, from certain diseases that I've been diagnosed with that I no longer have. I truly believe it was through all the work that I did to transform myself. I literally had to I dissected this out of out of my life and everything that made me me, at least the identity that I had, that I was identifying with. So yeah. In addition, the Haitian edition also has prayers throughout. So every chapter comes with a prayer, and then at the very end, it comes with the list of prayers for the Haitian version. Again, it's more so personal when it comes to the Haitian edition, but the English edition is just as good. Just doesn't come with the prayers. So this book is a very, 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 very transformative book if you take it seriously. If you really read it without any distractions and you sit down and you listen to the words and you feel them. This book is not a book meant to just read and, you know, put aside, or read and check off a list or any of the sort. Like, this book is meant, like, I wrote this book with the intentions that whoever is reading the words on each and every single page, that it is felt in the body. I am very, very, very big on feeling. You know, prior to language, there was no language. Everything was about somatics, feeling, energy, like that. That's what this book, I want it to resonate. That's what my intention was with this book. So, and I know it will, because I still read some things in here that still brings tears to my eyes. I also currently don't have it available in Kindle, and I did that on purpose. Initially I was creating a Kindle version, but I noticed that, I know for me, and you know, I'm guilty of that, because I've definitely had books that I've gotten off Kindle as an audiobook, or you know, just a regular Kindle book, and I kind of like skim it, and I don't really like fully receive the words the way that I believe those books that I've actually purchased are meant to be received. So I did that intentionally, where that is, Kindle is not available and audiobooks is not available, but rather it is the physical book, because I want this, I want touching, I want, you know, because there's a lot of things out there that, you know, people don't realize the power of energy, the power of attention, the power of resonance, and like, you know, really. So like I said, I've literally, like, I've dissected so much about me, and yeah, so now I'm just ready to share my journey, share what I've been through, share what I'm still going through, because a journey is a journey with no end, without no end. There is no end. It's just a matter of learning, integrating, growing, learning, integrating, growing, learning, integrating, growing. Like, it's continuous. There's no such thing as a start and end. There is no end. It's just a matter. It's a cycle. Though this world is a cycle. It's a continuum. There is no end, no matter what they say. So, again, was called to come on here to share this book, The Gift of Falling Apart, is available on Amazon. I will jot the link down below, and yeah, make sure you guys grab a copy. You will not regret it. You will not regret it, I promise you. Even though I don't do promises, this book you actually won't regret. So, again, available on Amazon. All right, going to work. See y'all next time.